the divine tests you sometimes. I feel when something is divinely offered to you, when you have a divine assignment, that before it blossoms, you go through a trial period. And I want to lead you to where this is leading. So, this right here, this piece of art, this piece of art, um, very special. Very special, very symbolic, very divinely inspired. You can see that light coming through all of those different colors, the glitter, the D, the A, the P, the S, the A, which stands for Different Ability People's Safe Atmosphere, right? Now, look, I just did this, look. Still paint. The paint's dry, but this was just completed a few weeks ago. And um it was me being open to divine instruction. Divine instruction was like, why don't you create a club for um disabled students? And I was like, me create a club for disabled students? And I'm like, I don't know. So I talked to some folks about it and they were like, yes, and this is so great and this is so wonderful. And I was like, okay, awesome, great, wonderful, all right. And everybody I talked to said yes. Everybody was on board and it took on a momentum of itself. And I was just like, okay, let me hold on. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on. And I'm gonna hold on. Right. And as it took on its own momentum, and people were like, yes, 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 yes. There were certain individuals in positions of authority was like, the fuck, this bitch that came up with some other shit. I wish this bitch would sit down. No, that's not the words they said. And I don't know if that was their thoughts. So I'm not going to say that, I read minds or anything. But what I will say is that people had the opportunity to really be supportive of this, and not everybody took that opportunity to be supportive of this. There was individuals who just didn't think this was important. I don't care. I'm not disabled. What the frick I care? I might have knee problems, but I'm not disabled. You know, or they just couldn't see. And again, I can't think for them, and it's not for me to convince anybody because I didn't have to convince the people that I told about it. I just briefly mentioned it, and they was like, "Yeah, and we're gonna do this for you. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this." But the thing was, the people that were on board with this, they may have positions of authority, but didn't have the exact positions to push this forward to be a success at the school. Now, listen carefully. That's at the school. So when I expressed this to one of my friends at the school, she mentioned she was happy for me, supportive to me. We support each other, and she asked me a question. And she was like, "So what are you going to do with this after you graduate? Like, what are you going to do with it?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I'm leaving it here. It's going to be a legacy club here that I leave here. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And she didn't say anything else. And I was like, so the seed was planted. The seed was literally planted through her that, oh, what you gonna do with your organization? And I was like, I wasn't even thinking about an organization because in my conscious mind, the organizations that I had already started, those need to be rebooted. Don't they need to be rebooted first since they started first? And apparently, divinity said, God said, don't worry about that. That's going to emerge in its own divine time. You going to do what I'm telling you to do now. And that's how this painting emerged, because I didn't buy this canvas for a club. I didn't buy this canvas for an organization. I bought this canvas for me to do art. Look at my other art piece. That all came in a bag. They have this art bag that came with paint, new brushes, canvases, much cheaper than Blick. And unlike Blick, I didn't have to pay hard cash for it. I was able to get it with my financial aid. So like to me, I was, I'm winning. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my art. I'm going to express myself creatively with my art skills, right? So back to DASPA, because I'm sharing this video with someone, and I'm going to share you some of my other videos too. Because I spoke with this wonderful lady who I'm sending this to. I'm not going to mention your name on here, but I can just tell, we women have superpowers. I don't care what nobody says. Not saying that guys don't, but we women have superpowers. We could just tell things through tonality and through how we feel within our own bodies when we're communicating with others, right? So, with that being said, um, I um, I did everything for the club. I did all the paperwork. I passed it off to the people I needed to pass it off to. Again, certain individuals were not happy about me stepping forward with this. So they was like, okay, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? What we gonna do? We need to find something. So this is what they found. Now, I'm gonna be fully transparent. My last GPA for my last semester, 3.0. I am finishing with a 4.0, okay? Because these classes, first of all, I've done these classes before. So it's not new material to me. They're refreshers. They're super easy. They're all online. So yeah. I'm finishing with a 4.8, finishing the school itself, 4.0 rather, all A's. And so what they did, or what was done to try to deter me from going forward with this, was they did an overall GPA. So they utilized my music courses, and in my music courses, which I'm not even a music major anymore, but they utilized my music courses to say, well, you failed two music courses, which lowered your GPA, which overall lowered your GPA. Really? I'm not even in the music department anymore. Okay. All right. So because your overall GPA is below a 2.5, which is including music, which I don't even know why music would be included into my GPA if I'm not in that program anymore. That's a conversation for me to have another time, um, if I decide to do it. Because at this point, there's no need for me to fight. Obviously, this is bigger than one school. Obviously, there's a need for this to be, there is a need for there to be a creative space for people who have been labeled disabled, a safe space for us who have been labeled disabled to express ourselves creatively. Obviously, there is a need for this, and it's not just in one school. Obviously, it's something that is bigger than just one school. And I had to accept that fact when another lady who works in the community, I told her about this, and she also got excited about it. And she also referred to it as an organization. So now two seeds have been planted of this being an organization. And it wasn't until today that I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go with the flow. Like, I'm going to let spirit direct me. I'm going to see if we can adjust those failing classes. And if not, then, you know, whatever. I'm going to take this forward to something else. Now, interesting enough, it was recommended that I still do this from behind the scenes. But see, I don't belong behind nobody's scenes. I don't belong behind nobody's scenes. Maybe in certain instances, in certain spaces. But for me to stand up and to accept my disability and to not be ashamed of my disability and to empower others who have disabilities, no matter what type of disabilities they may have, whether it's physical, whether it's learning, whatever, just to say, listen, you have different abilities. Just this, you're not under anything or anybody. You just have to do things differently. And when I tell you it's a whole other world, let me tell you, there are people who have been labeled as disabled that have done things that I couldn't even imagine myself doing. Um, Playing sports, raising families, running businesses successfully. So being labeled disabled doesn't mean that you cannot be successful. And it doesn't mean that you cannot be creative. And it doesn't mean anything but that you can do everything just differently. So, I am making this video once again. My spirit is not telling me go behind and don't be the face. My spirit is telling me no, be the face and work with people who are going to support this and who sees, who divinely feels within their spirit when they hear about this something. They respond, because that's how certain people have been responding. Like, oh, yes, 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 yes. And I'm like, I'm shocked. I'm shocked by their response. I didn't have to do no convincing. I didn't have to do no lobbying. I didn't have to do no campaigning. Let me convince you. I just had to show up and allow divinity to work through me and say, yes, I surrender. This is divinity. This is how divinity is working through me, as me, for others. So here I am. I will be meeting you soon. This wonderful lady that I'm sending this to. I don't know whether I'm going to publish this on my channel. I may. Um, you may see my channel and see some interesting content. I am a mother. I am a woman. I'm over 40. I don't know whether it's perimenopause, menopause, whatever. Hormones be hormoning. So, and I do express myself creatively. So, it's all in perfect alignment and divine alignment. So I'm going to share this. I do need to adjust our appointment. We have an appointment for 1 on Thursday. I need to adjust that to 10 on Thursday. Yeah. So that's about it. And I'm going to need your support for sure. I think this is something that, I mean, you're even welcome to be a board member. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's a conflict of interest since I'm coming to get services. But if it's not a conflict of interest, let's do it. Or if you know people that are good with organizational skills, I'm good as a president. I'm good with coming up with ideas. I'm good with motivating and delegating. I'm not good at puppeting. It was suggested that I puppet. 2 people suggested that I puppet, and I'm not good. I'm not good at that. I don't have no desire to puppet anybody. I just no. No, I'm not a puppet master. I am more concerned with self mastery. And if my self mastery can motivate someone else's self mastery or inspire somebody's self mastery, kudos. But puppet, that's not what I use my power for. That's not what I use my authority for. I don't even puppet the person that I carried in my womb and pushed out of my daggone vajayjay 27 years ago. I don't even puppet that person. Because that's not what we're here to do. If everybody has divinity in them, which we do, why would I be trying to puppet somebody else just because I could? No. So I was like, okay. No, I'm going to get a 501c and an EIN, and I'm going to make this bigger than just a school thing. I'm going to make this a city thing. And being that I'm having this conversation with this wonderful person that I already talked to today, maybe this will be a state thing. Maybe this will be a national thing within a couple of years. Who knows? I'm just a steward, okay? And I am supposed to be a steward right here, right now, over this. And I'm not supposed to be puppeting anybody else to be the face of me, because no one could be the face or the voice of me better than me. So, hi. I'm Takara. If you look at my channel, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff. And I'll just know freedom of speech is what I exercise. And obviously, my sovereign rights over myself. I ain't trying to control nobody else. I want everybody to be free and to allow their divinity to be the only thing that is controlling them. That's how I live my life. And that's how I like to see life lived by others. It makes it so much better. We all get along much better like that.